wind up doing is exactly what you should be doing.
And I have not behaved one single day of my life. Not one day of my life have I behaved, and I am fine.
I need your help. I can't tell you what it is. You can never ask me about it later, and we're going to hurt some people.
Which car are we going to take?
Thank you for joining us on the Nikki Medoro Show. Yes, we are in my new place. Please let me know in the comments how it's looking. Nugget, we're on air right now. Get it together, man. I apologize. Nugget's extremely comfortable in our new house. But please let me know. I'm trying. My Wi-Fi keeps hiccuping. And I'm not on the Wi-Fi. If anybody knows, if anybody has any idea why my computer that I have hardwired into my router keeps clicking on the Wi-Fi, I apologize. This is what I've been trying to fix all morning long. And so I have no idea why it's happening. If any techies are out there, I'm sure that I'm just stuttering to no end. I restarted my computer. I don't have a Tony over here. I just have a dog being inappropriate on my show. And so hopefully it's not too bad. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I see that it's connected to the Wi-Fi and it's not supposed to be connected to the Wi-Fi. And I have no idea why it keeps doing that, but let me know if I could do it. So yes, this is my new move. My computer does hate me, Harry. Absolutely. I did turn off the Wi-Fi on my computer. I love you guys to death. Network preferences. I'm so sorry about this. This is so unprofessional. Not how I wanted to start my first day in my new home. But yeah, I'm having some sort of computer issue. If it continues, I might have to restart the computer, and I hope you guys are all good to go. But yeah, for some reason, StreamYard says it's connected to the Wi-Fi, but it's not. Okay, we have a great show coming up. We are going to do a lot of the Grammys. We watched it yesterday. I don't have a TV hooked up. My TV is actually on the ground, which is awful. It is just a mess. So we'll touch on the Grammys in the second hour. I have a quick video that I'm going to show you as well in just a moment, because I was a bit shocked at Album of the Year, even though we're Harry Styles fans in this household. But we'll touch on that, and also kind of the storyline between Beyonce never winning it and it being Black History Month. It's kind of weird. I will give you some details on how the move is, of course, going, because I almost lost my faith in humanity. I really did. I really, really did. So that story is coming up in just a moment. We're going to touch on the economy. So Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen was on Good Morning America today to kind of preview tomorrow's State of the Union address by President Biden. I will be speaking with John Rothman, not just about what he expects President Biden to say, what he should say, but we're also going to touch tomorrow with John Rothman on Kamala Harris, President Biden's right-hand woman, vice president, but many are saying she is failing to step up into her role. And so I want to talk to John Rothman about kind of the history of vice presidents and the history she's making as vice president, because she is obviously the first woman president. And so we'll talk about that tomorrow. It is going to be a recorded show tomorrow, but I'm recording John today to preview tomorrow. My daughter's having another infusion, and so I really appreciate it. But we want to continue the show and bring you guys new content. And with the State of the Union tomorrow, John Rothman is the perfect person to talk to kind of talk about all of that. So yes, let's get into my move. Now, Jim, I see what you're saying. My internet connection is not adequate, or the computer is trying to get on your Wi-Fi network. Yeah, I don't know. I have the best Wi-Fi I could possibly get for this address. I look at my settings and it says my Wi-Fi is off. I look and it says I'm connected to the LAN, or I'm directly connected, and yet StreamYard. It's StreamYard's problem. I really don't think it's my computer. StreamYard, which is what we use here, is kind of gets a little bit glitchy. But anyways, let's get into the move. And hopefully Kim McAllister will slide on over very shortly. Could we have chosen a worse weekend to move into this house? It never stopped raining. And we had to move this weekend. We had to, because I need to get out of the house I was renting into this house that we're renting. And February is a short month. And we're just really trying to kind of find pockets of dry parts of the day. And then like anything that could go wrong went wrong. Then the truck that we were supposed to get, like everyone's at our house ready to go. The covered truck we were supposed to get, somebody else used and filled up with a bunch of stuff. And so all we had was an open air truck. So there's a bunch of stuff that got wet. I have furniture in front of my house under this awning drying out. It was just a complete S show. But back to my faith in humanity. So the house that we have, besides the fact that I have a little bit more room, what I really like about it is it has this kind of awning between the garage and the front of the house. And it's long, you put plants there. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. My packages will never get stolen because it's a deep kind of little, I don't know what you call it, a little inlet right there, right? A little awning, a covered awning area. And so I show up on Saturday and Amazon says that one of my packages had been delivered. Now, this package didn't have anything really of substance, right? It had space-saving hangers, where you hook it and then you drop one side and it saves stuff on the side. So they stole that. Apparently, somebody came and it was hidden. They took a picture and it was ready to go. And all of a sudden, I look and it's not there anymore. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I call Amazon. I'm trying to see if they can fix it, and they can't. And because it hasn't enough time hasn't passed yet. And so let's welcome Kim McAllister on, because she can actually hopefully speak when I'm not being wonky. So Kim, I'm having computer. I know.
Oh.
I'm having for some reason, my computer continues to want to hook up to the Wi-Fi. So I'm a bit glitchy, even though I'm directly corded into the router. I don't know what the hell.
Oh yeah. You're skipping some words here and there, but that's a nice fireplace you got. Look at you.
Yeah. So, okay. I am telling a story though, Kim, about how I almost lost my faith in humanity because I had a package stolen from the front of my porch of my new house. I've never had a package stolen in my life. I've never had a package stolen in my old neighborhood. And I was like, oh, I moved to a different neighborhood and this is how you welcome the new person, right? And it was the space-saving hangers, where you can hang them and then you drop one side and it kind of condenses everything.
Yeah.
And so, hold on. I can't even see you. I'm going to need to refresh real quickly. Everybody hold.
That's okay.
1 second.
It's okay. I wonder what do you think? I mean, when you move into a new place and the first thing that happens is you get a package stolen, is there something you can do? I guess you could have your packages delivered at the post office and then just go pick up whatever packages. Or her parents live nearby and maybe they haven't had the issue. So maybe you just have your packages delivered there. I don't know, but that's not very much of a nice of a welcome. Yeah, Nemen, it's not a very welcome greeting. Floyd says, motion sensor activated turret machine gun is the way to go. That might be a little dramatic, but I hear you. I hate moving with a passion. I do too. Although I was telling Nikki, it's a great opportunity to purge, and we all need to, right? We all need to get rid of that stuff that's just lingering. And when you do it, it's supposed to feel so much better, right? Are you back with us now?
Can you hear me? Am I glitchy? Am I moving? I don't see the Wi-Fi thing.
Your volume is extraordinarily low. So maybe you could turn your volume up a bit.
Sorry. I am
It's
so
okay.
sorry, guys.
We gotta do what we gotta do, man.
I've been doing.
Oh, better. Yeah, better.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was thinking, well, what could you do? You could have your packages delivered to your parents' house if they haven't had issues, or just have it all delivered to the post office and do the package pickup.
Well, here's the thing. Let me turn up my volume on this too, as well. Let me know if I'm still too low. So here's the thing. At my old neighborhood, in my old house, I would have packages delivered right on my front porch, but because you walk in, nobody ever saw it. Here, there's this huge inlet between my garage and my house. And I was like, that's perfect.
Right.
And so I'm looking on Amazon and I'm very upset about it. I've never had a package stolen before.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it just left a bad taste in my mouth. Okay. So we're moving all day Saturday. I was saying before I got you on, Kim, that it was raining the whole time. The truck that we had was open. So much stuff got wet. I have furniture drying out. It was a complete S show. So the fact that I'm having connection issues right now, just icing on the freaking cake. 'Cause I worked so hard. But anyways, so we're moving on Saturday. We're drying stuff out. I'm not lying. I looked all over this house for this package. I'm like, did I bring it in? It was dropped off on Friday. I didn't even go in the house on Friday. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden, Sunday night, after bitching and moaning about this stolen package, I look on top of my closet and there it is. But it's not in the Amazon box. It has been opened and it is placed there. Now,
Wait,
is that not weird?
in your closet in the house?
In the new house, in our bedroom, on top of the closet is the hangers. And it says the
Could
box.
your,
I'm
could
sitting
your
there. I'm like, oh my
landlord
God.
maybe thought it was hers and opened
No.
it and maybe put it in your house?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean,
Then it had to have been a family member that retrieved it, opened it, and put it where they thought it might go.
so I'm happy that I have my hangers. I mean, it put me behind a day. But yeah, it was like midnight. I'm sitting on my couch, like, or my bed. I'm like just exhausted. And I look up and there's the package. So now my faith in humanity is restored. My faith in myself is really, really low. I have no idea what the
And
hell happened. But
And
yeah.
your husband doesn't admit to it?
No, nobody does. I mean, it's not, it's
Hmm.
everybody, nobody even knew what was in it. And it's not just that, it's the fact that like it was opened. It wasn't like someone just took the package off the counter. So then I'm like, was it me? Did I do this? And I just don't remember. But there's no way I wouldn't have remembered.
You
I
know
would
they're
have
just
known.
messing with you. Someone in your family's messing with you.
Well, not even,
No.
but it's also like it was open and I would have made a mental note about it. But anyways, I'm really, really happy
Yeah.
that I got all of that done. And so we're moved in. Everything is everywhere. You don't even want to know. But look at Nugget. I mean, the dog just doesn't realize that we're on
He's
the
in the
air.
chair. He's in the comfy chair.
Spread eagle. I mean, get it
At least
together.
someone's comfy in the new house. Is that a black brick on your fireplace? Is it the only black brick?
Yeah, apparently so.
That's interesting.
It actually looks like somebody like used marker over it,
Somebody colored the brick in? Huh.
which is really well. No, there's other black bricks actually.
Okay.
It ain't my house. I'm just renting it. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um,
Interesting. Okay.
did you watch the Grammys? Because we're going to be talking about the Grammys in the
I
second part of the
watched
show.
clips of it. I think I read more about the Grammys than watched it this year.
Okay. I want to show you guys a video. Hold on. So I'm watching now. Another thing that I was talking about last week, I got Hulu plus live TV. I got rid of DirecTV.
Yeah.
So my kids are now having to get used to the fact that they can't just hit the remote and see everything. Okay. So we were a little late watching the Grammys, but Marley really wanted to watch because she knew that Harry had won award. And so this was when she found out, and spoiler alert, but everybody should know that Harry actually won Album of the Year. Here we go. Hold on, Grandma just texted you. Well, Marley Harry Styles just won the Grammy for Album of the Year. Oh my God. So it was funny because Harry wins and my mom instantly texts her, like, did you see that Harry won? Which was really sweet. And if you saw the video right there, that was my phone video. There was an older lady that was hugging him because what they did differently this year is they had fans that actually kind of debated why Beyonce or Harry or whatever should win Album of the Year. I actually liked that feature. I thought it was really good. But later on today, or later on during the show, I definitely want to get into whether or not Beyonce was robbed, because a lot of people are saying this is getting absolutely ridiculous that she still hasn't won anything, at least Album of the Year. She's the winningest artist. She has the most Grammys ever, but she has never won Album of the Year. I mean, she won Album of the Year, I think, in like dance and electronic music. Obviously, she's won like best songs and things like that, but never Album of the Year.
She should have gotten it for Lemonade. Randy says, I think it was kind of neat that they let the fan present the Grammy to him.
Well, some people were saying that Trevor Noah, who was the host of the Grammys, he didn't want to be the one to announce that Beyonce hadn't won it again. He's like, I ain't saying that. But I actually liked it too. And she was so nervous. And she's like, Harry Styles. It was so funny. John writes in, they had a vote. He got more votes. She was not robbed. I like that you mentioned this because I want to kind of get into the fact that one of the voting members, who was a 70-year-old music executive, made quite the disclosure about why he not only didn't vote for Harry Styles, but why he didn't vote for Beyonce. And people are pointing to that saying, see, it's because she's a Black woman. She's very successful. People don't like successful Black women. And so there's all of these sort of things that people are pointing to on why Beyonce still hasn't won. Now, it could just be a lot of excuses, right? I mean, it could just be basically, she, just like John said, she just didn't get the vote. This also happened, though, and I don't know if you guys saw this. Somebody was yelling. So when Harry Styles won, and people were not happy because it was reminding them of when Taylor Swift won Album of the Year. And remember, Kanye West hopped up on stage and he was like, Beyonce had the best album ever. Watch this video. Look at this. Here we go. Now, Harry just won.
I've been so inspired by every artist that's happened.
Oh,
It gets worse.
Beyonce should have won.
oh,
Yeah, so I think that that's just really disrespectful. It's not like Harry Styles is at fault for winning the Grammy, just like it wasn't, what was it? Taylor Swift, who else? Beck and Adele. I think those are the three other ones that have beaten Beyonce for Album of the Year. And it's hard. Even Harry Styles said in his speech, there is no best. It's very subjective, and so it sucks. But again, I'll read you in the second part of the show, the voting, a bunch of controversies though. Dr. Dre being honored because there was this whole hip hop tribute. And many people are saying, wait, why are we honoring Dr. Dre with his own award? And it's going to be handed out. This was just the first time when he has been violent towards women. He has this crazy violent history. And this is the guy that we want to give a name and award. Yeah. So we'll get into that as well. There's Chris Brown, there's Dave Chappelle winning an Emmy. So that's something that makes people kind of, like uncomfortable of where the Grammys are going and what they choose to forget. Some funny moments. Did you see this? So Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez were there. Ben Affleck did look a bit bored. This guy writes, Ben Affleck looked like he'd rather be at Dunkin's. And then Dunkin' Donuts writes, we'll be there for him in the morning. That's for sure. So get that guy. I mean, he's going to be in a Super Bowl commercial, which is awesome.
He does have this face where he just looks like pained, like he would just rather be anywhere else.
Yes, exactly. So, but how can you not want to be at the Grammys? It is the best concert you will ever go to. My daughter was even asking, she's like, how do we get tickets to the Grammys? I'm like, you don't. You have to know a member. You have to do something like that. Yeah.
Make some music, Marley. Make some music.
Make some music, get your own award, right? Exactly. And then of course people were reacting to Beyonce, Dr. Dre, and we'll have that. Now I know that there's a lot of other news that's coming up, but I do want to let you know what we're doing again tomorrow. John Rothman is going to be joining us. We're going to talk about President Biden's State of the Union address. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris and whether or not, she's living up to her role as the first female vice president. And the only reason why I mentioned that is because there's a lot of big headlines surrounding not only the economy, but just how people are feeling about Biden and his presidency. I would say if you are being honest and looking at the laundry list of things that President Biden has done, it's huge. It is long, but I think politics gets in the way of giving him his due. I think it was over 60% of Americans don't feel like President Biden has done much in his time as president. And that's a really tough statistic to overcome as we're past the midterms and you're going to apparently run for another term as president, which reminds me that he should not, in my opinion, run for a second term. But is it going to be Kamala Harris? So we'll talk about that. That's for tomorrow's show. Again, we'll be talking to John Rothman today. We're recording that for tomorrow because, again, my daughter is having an infusion. But it's a big day tomorrow, the State of the Union, and we'll definitely get into it even more on Wednesday. We'll talk about the recession, though, after Kim's news at the bottom. And then Calvin Wong, who's been one of our big supporters on the show, you'll see him in the chat sometimes, sent me an article which came in handy for me, even though I don't have one yet, but I'm going to get one, about saving money. I mean, obviously, despite the jobs numbers and things like that, people are having a hard time making ends meet, egg prices, inflation, all those sorts of things. And so Calvin sent me this article about how to save money with heat. I mean, whose PG&E bill, we talked about that last week, are so high right now. And I always thought it was the opposite, but it makes sense. But this is what I thought. I thought space heaters were just energy sucks, right? I mean, even if you're just heating your own room, yes, it's better to heat one room instead of the whole house. That makes sense. But I thought that space heaters in and of themselves were just really bad users of energy and electricity. Here. Oh, Calvin's in the chat right now. Yes, save your money. Having a space heater can save you money. On average, you can expect to pay, according to this article in CNET, 20 cents per hour to run an average space heater that is 1,500 watts and can heat a standard room. If you run it for 8 hours a day, you'll pay about $160 per day, and it comes out to just under $50 a month. Now,
how does that differ from running the heater?
Well, I think it would matter, obviously, how big your house is.
Yep.
Let me actually bring up the whole thing, because they did CNET. What CNET did is they did the math for you. Okay. Now, obviously, it matters how much you pay for your gas, the size of your house, your climate, your preferred temperature, all those sorts of things. So it says the first type of heater, you have to look at the size and the wattage. So a small personal heater can be purchased for $20. A full room heater can run you $300. So that's the first cost. Then consider energy efficiency. Then you want to look at your own rates. So natural gas, now this is across the nation, okay? Natural gas cost per household is about $1,096. The average per day is $6.05. Per hour, it's 25 cents, an increase of 28% from last year. Heating oil is $14 a day and change, 6 cents per price per hour. And electricity is $8.16 per day and 34 cents per hour. And that's increased just 5%. Now, propane, I don't know if anybody uses propane.
Some people probably might.
That's the most expensive. Average price is almost $12. And about per hour, it's about 50 cents per day. So that's the comparison there. Now, a space heater is change. If you use natural gas to use your space heater, 40 cents if you use it for 8 hours. Electricity, 72 cents, and propane is $2, but propane is always going to be more expensive. My whole thing is when I would want to use a space heater is at night in my room, and that's usually when we just turn everything off.
Yeah.
We're just staying under the blankets. So I don't know how we would really necessarily use it on a daily basis, but I just might. Okay, I'm going to go to Kim's news. I'm going to restart my computer, so you may not see me, Kim, for a second. I'm going to try to fix all of this nonsense that is so very distracting to me right now. I apologize. When we come back, we'll get a little bit into the recession. We'll also get into this egg conspiracy. I went to the grocery store a week ago, and I bought eggs. I didn't think the price was that bad, but you guys tell me how much you're finding for egg prices, and I'll tell you about the conspiracy surrounding it. We'll get into Janet Yellen's comments. Also, Jill Biden, the first lady, made an appearance at the Grammys. She looked awesome. And of course, please click the thumbs up button. I was so distracted. I didn't even remind you guys to do that. Please click the thumbs up. It really helps the show. We'll get some shout outs to Super Lives. I also have something really special that is active now that I want to tell you about. So that's all coming up after the news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
That's right. This report is sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 tax deal. Just finishing up putting the last picture in there. Let us begin with these two yahoos. This is a story about a Florida resident with ties to a neo-Nazi group, now one of two people accused of plotting what federal prosecutors say was a racially motivated attack on Baltimore, Maryland's power grid. Brandon Russell of Orlando spent 4 years in prison on federal explosives charges, discovered as a Tampa police investigated the murders of two roommates. Russell is listed as a founder of the Atomwaffen, which is a neo-Nazi group that states its wish is to speed up the destruction of society. So, both arrested now. There will be 7 days of mourning following devastating earthquakes in Turkey and that have killed thousands. That declaration coming from Turkey's president. He has said the first earthquake, which measured at magnitude 7.8, was the largest disaster seen in that nation in more than 80 years. As many as 2,600 people dead because of that 7.8 earthquake. The U.S. military is still recovering debris from the spy balloon. It was shot down. You can see here it is on its descent. Pew! Down. The U.S. military recovering debris from the suspected Chinese spy balloon shot down off the coast of South Carolina this weekend. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said officials will be able to exploit what has recovered to learn more about the balloon's capabilities and mission. He says officials have already learned much about the balloon while monitoring it as it moved over the United States. And congressional Republicans are making good on their promise to use their newfound power to focus on the United States border with Mexico. There is another hearing this week featuring members of the Border Patrol. Jessica Vaughn with the Center for Immigration Studies says last week's hearing showed how divisive an issue that the border has truly become. Former President Trump and one of his attorneys now appealing nearly $1 million in sanctions that were imposed on them for filing what a federal judge called a frivolous lawsuit. It accused Hillary Clinton, former FBI officials, and the Democratic National Committee of creating a false narrative that Trump and his 2016 campaign were colluding with Russia to try to win the election that year. A federal judge in Florida dismissed the lawsuit last year and ordered Trump and his attorney to pay close to $1 million in sanctions. And reservoir levels across California are reaching historic levels. It's the historic average, rather, for daily storage. The recent weather, including 9 atmospheric rivers last month, have combined to boost daily water storage at nearly 60%. New Malones Lake is over 40% full as of Monday, but just under the historical average storage. Folsom Lake, 51% of total capacity, 110% though of historical average around this date. And Lake Oroville is at 67% capacity, which is also 113% of its historical average right around this date. Now, police in one Kentucky town are passing along a heads up about a scam targeting coffee drinkers. Absolutely unthinkable. No, but yes. Cops in Georgetown, north of Lexington, say a link is being circulated around the web offering free coffee and donuts. Sounds nice. Click on the link, though, and it will release a virus which will allow typing only in all caps. Well, that's a bummer. Police say, don't be fooled. There's no free coffee and there's no donuts for you. So that's a bummer. Speaking of scams, there's a new Facebook scam. I just got it, actually. Someone sent it to me. And it says, let me go right to it. It says, it looks like a video that has been Facebook messaged, and it says, look who died in an accident. I think you know him. So sorry, with a link to a video that you're supposed to click on. Now, this is kind of one of those ego things where they get you to click on a video thinking it's either a picture of you, you're in some video, or in this particular instance, someone you know who has died is in some video. Don't click on the video. It's a total scam. It's nobody except somebody wanting all the information on all of your friends to scam them as well. So yeah, Not going to do it. This report, sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses alike. If you need help with your taxes, call Steve Moskowitz. He's at 888 Tax Deal. He's also at MoskowitzLLC.com. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Well, let's give it a try, shall we? I don't know if I'm sounding or connecting any better. I'm not.
You are. Your voice sounds amazing right now.
See, I'm still seeing the Wi-Fi thing on my screen, which means I'm going to get clicky. We'll try to figure it out, and maybe at the top of the hour, I'll have another shot at it. I do want to say thank you to everyone. Please give us a thumbs up if you can. It really helps out the show. We would really, really appreciate it. I do want to also let you know that you can reach me at thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com. That is the website or the email address that I often use. thenikkimedoroshow.com is our website where you can find links to our Patreon and our past YouTube shows. And I had a couple of people not really understanding the best way to reach me. So thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com, thenikkimedoroshow.com is just kind of the website where we have all of this up and running. I am on Facebook as well. So hello to everybody that's tuning in on Facebook. If you can donate to our Patreon, please do. If you like PayPal better, thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com is the PayPal. And then I need to give a shout out, and I want to bring it up because and I think she's already done this. Lori's already done this for Mark Thompson. And Kim, she has now done it for me.
Okay.
And I want to pronounce her name properly. Lori Fusia? I don't know. Lori.
We call her Lori Above the Bar. That's
right. There we go. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Lori Above the Bar has done something that she's done for Mark Thompson as well. And I can't believe it. She sends me this. Thank you. The Red Jack Saloon. So she's created the Medoro Mule. There it is.
Oh.
So see Mark Thompson's on the left and the Nikki Medoro Show is on the right. Is that not the nicest thing ever?
Really
so she's
nice.
paid attention.
Yeah.
To what I love to drink, right? And she got it right. She was like, did I get it right? Absolutely. You got it right. So, and a portion of the proceeds will go to the show as a donation. And Lori, I wanted to give you a shout out. I'm going to need to go up to San Francisco just to go to your bar. I mean, it has to happen. So I'm very, very excited about that. And thank you. Thank you so much. It's an awesome way to support this show. And I would have never thought that I would have something like that. So I'm really, really excited about it. I know. I'm really, so Lori, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so very, very much. Now, I know that you've been following this in your news, of course. It's the recession. And Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen isn't having any of this nonsense talk about a recession. So she was on Good Morning America today. Here's a picture of her. And, George Stephanopoulos was doing the interview and was kind of talking and asking her, people think we're heading straight towards a recession. Here's what she said.
Those jobs numbers seem to defy predictions of a recession this year. Do you still?
Oh, hold on. I got to turn it up so we can hear what the hell she's saying. Hold on. There we go. Here we go.
Those jobs numbers seem to defy predictions of a recession this year. Do you still think one is likely?
Well, look, you don't have a recession when you have 500,000 jobs and the lowest unemployment rate in more than 50 years. So what I see is a path in which inflation is declining significantly and the economy is remaining strong. And really that's a path I believe is possible, and it's what I'm hoping we will be able to achieve.
So I think that she makes, a good point. I mean, those job numbers on Friday were shocking to everybody. It doesn't matter your politics. People were surprised. On the other hand, Randy has an interesting point. Not sure Yellen is credible. Didn't she get it wrong about inflation? Yes, but, and I know I do a lot of these buts when it comes to this sort of thing, but Ukraine, but COVID, but all of these things, right? What was it? Transitory, right? That was the word that they kept using. We'll see this transitory inflation, and it was supposed to go away, and then it didn't, right? I mean, the rates, the prices kept going up, and now the Fed is going to continue to raise interest rates. And so I'm not quite sure that she got it wrong, but I think the criticism is valid. How about that? I think that when you're paying a lot for eggs, for instance, it doesn't matter what Janet Yellen says, right? It doesn't matter what the jobs numbers. You want to know how much you're paying for your groceries. I want to know that if I buy all the fixings for a Harry Styles cake and a couple bottles of club soda, that it's not costing me $70. And that's where we're headed. And so on one hand, I understand all of the but COVID, but Ukraine, but supply chain issues, blah, blah, blah. On the other hand, I still have bills to pay and we need to get those bills down. Okay, so let's go. How much are you guys paying? Let me know in the comments. How much are you guys paying for eggs? Randy wrote in, my daughter paid $11 for 2 dozen eggs in Orange County. Just regular eggs, nothing special. Kim, do you remember the last time you bought eggs? How much they were? I can't hear. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Oh, sorry. I live in Petaluma. So my access to eggs is different than others.
Oh, that's right. Because you have like an egg person, right? Okay. So that's what I was telling my mom and dad. Because my dad eats eggs.
Oh, really?
He eats like 2 to 4 eggs every morning.
Yeah. That's a lot of eggs.
That's a lot of eggs. But he loves them. I got him this little egg cooker thing that it's like the best gift I ever got him in his whole entire life. But yeah, I told him, go, people have chickens. Go ask around. Susan writes in, I paid $3.99 for a dozen eggs at Trader Joe's last week. Susan, that's exactly what I paid at Lucky's. $3.99. Now, these were, though, medium eggs. Normally, I think if I paid that much, I'd be getting like the extra large, the bigger eggs. I like medium eggs.
So
I don't need all that egg.
I'm going to be snotty in the egg department. And I'm going to tell you that your eggs should come from a place where you know. You saw
the chicken's butt. What more do I need to know?
No. I mean, they should come from your area, right? Organic farm fresh eggs from your area. That's what I'm
Petaluma lady. I mean, not everybody has access to farm fresh eggs within a distance relative to their home.
Then maybe I can see the new trend is to get your own chicken and have your own eggs in the backyard. And so when you need your eggs, you just go pluck some out of the hay.
No, I'm not getting a chicken. But honestly, I don't really even eat that many eggs. Every time I buy eggs, I feel like they go bad. My kids don't eat eggs.
Eggs go bad?
Well, I mean, after a while, you can't eat last year's egg that's just been sitting in your fridge.
No, it takes a while, though.
It takes a while. And yes, I mean, obviously, I'm not like dumping it with the milk or anything. But yeah, I mean, they'll sit there unless I'm baking or like breading something. I am not one to just kind of crack open an egg on a Monday morning and just eat it. It's just not happening.
So you use eggs as a recession indicator. I just sent you this message. My husband emailed me this morning. And these are the indicators of a recession.
Oh, okay.
First one is a strip club. This stripper.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I won't say her name because her name is in its and of itself very risque. She apparently has been dancing for 6 years in clubs from Texas to New York and says she tracks her income via tips very carefully. And in May of 2022, she noticed it dropping. I was noticing, she said, there were just fewer higher earning people coming into the club. And when that happens, something is going to happen. She tweeted a warning. The strip club is sadly a leading indicator. And I can promise y'all, we are in a recession. The other one is, and you may have heard of the lipstick effect. This is apparently when women, the lipstick effect. It's a theory first proposed by an economist who found that women bought more lipstick during economic downturns than while they cut back on the more expensive luxury products. They're looking for an affordable luxury. So we buy lipstick to help make us feel better because it's something cheap that we can afford. So if lipstick sales are up, the economy is down.
That's interesting.
The other one is Alan Greenspan, who, dudes, I'm sorry guys in the chat, but men don't often buy underwear. Right? They will let it go to the very threadbare last hole before they decide to replace it. Well, Alan Greenspan tracked men's underwear sales. And he said that during tough economic times, people would wait longer to replace their worn out items, and men might wait the longest to swap out their underwear, the most private items we own. He said that if the men's underwear market slumped during 2022, and the men's briefs manufacturer Hanes sits at just 50% of its price 1 year ago. So if he was right, those indicators would say we're in a depression, because the underwear sales are down, lipstick sales are up, and the strippers say the tips suck. So there you go.
If you're going to not tip somebody, come on, tip your stripper, please. Come on. At the very least, Vilma has a good point. Because of inflation is the reason people think we're in a recession. Yes. Right. I mean, if you're paying more money out of your pocket, that sort of thing, but at least we have jobs to pay for the extra cost, which is true. But I feel like, Kim, we've been in this contradictory headline mode, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have inflation, but jobs are great.
Right.
We have all these layoffs, but people are getting jobs. Like,
Right.
What is it? Which is it? And is this another example of kind of that K-shaped recovery everyone was talking about when we were coming out of COVID? I think everybody thought they might be on the top part of the K, and more of us are like, nah, I think more of us are on the bottom part of that K, and it's going to take us a lot longer. Ron writes, bring in some rolled coins, make it jingle at the club. Don't do that. Don't do that. I think that is looked down upon by the strippers. Oh, people saving money that they can't spend. Maybe that's what they were doing. During COVID, they were getting a lot of funding or a lot of money from the government, which some people saved. A lot of people were bumping up their savings account and now having to use it. John, I buy underwear at least once a year.
Oh, proving them wrong. Okay.
How often do you buy underwear, Kim?
God, lately, it seems like everyone in my house needs underwear, so I'm buying. But I would say every maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I don't buy underwear all the time.
When I buy it, I buy like a big batch of it, and then I'm okay for a while.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
not like I'm running them ragged or something. You know what I mean? You gotta buy good underwear. Speaking of underwear, you know who's getting into the underwear business, right?
No.
Well, I was going to do this later on, but let's just do it right now. Let me show you a picture. Now, brace yourselves, men and ladies. Here we go.
Who is that?
Who do you think it is?
Is that? Well, I would say with your house, it was Harry Styles, but I don't know who that is.
That is not Harry. Okay, everybody in the chat.
I can't see the face. Who's the face?
Who is it?
Is that Mark Wahlberg?
Nope. Mark Wahlberg, though, did underwear. I think it was Calvin Klein.
Yeah,
nope.
He did.
Come on, chat room. Who is that? I think Kim's just focused on the hand too much.
Tom Brady?
It is Tom Brady.
Randy gets it right, and 11-7 gets it right, and Sandbug. Nice. Thank you, Kim.
Come on.
I couldn't tell who it was either. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's getting into the underwear business, huh?
Yeah, Brady brand. I think
retirement plans.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to be just fine. If anybody was worried about Tom Brady, you should never have been. But yeah, he's getting into the underwear market. Brady brand. So I'm going to assume that at some point the waistband will just have Brady on it, which I'm sure there's a bunch of women who would love to kind of sport those. But yeah.
Why is he? Can you put the picture back up? Why is he covering up the package?
I think because he might be well endowed.
Maybe that's what you hope.
Well, I mean, or it's not, or he doesn't fill it out, right? Either or, right? Either it's too full or not full enough.
I mean, he's got underwear on. It's not like we're going to see it, right? Or maybe we would see it.
Well, hold on. Let me find another.
Maybe it was an uncomfortable moment.
Because I had this later on. Here we go.
I think the hand over the package really brings all kinds of questions to the forefront for me.
Yeah, like what are you doing?
What's so bad there that you have to cover that bad boy up?
I think that he just doesn't want to show off the goods, right?
Well, then why take the selfie?
Because I think it was a bet that he had to. Okay, hold on. So there's this article that came out. Let me get to it. So
I mean, he's in a tropical location. We've got the palm tree and the ocean behind him. It's got to be warm.
So the picture was part of a bet with his Brady brand clothing line, which reminded him that he said back in June of last year that he would recreate some of the underwear models' photos if his tweet got 40,000 likes, which is easy for him to get. And so then he says, did I do it right? And he said that to Edelman and Gronkowski and the Brady brand Twitter account. And yeah, so he's posing on the edge of an unmade bed with a view of palm trees and oceans in the background.
Thank you, John.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the rest of the, let me show you.
Mindy,
let me
maybe
show
he
you
is shy.
Let me show you his website, because I will say this. When I went on there, I did notice one thing that I didn't particularly like. Okay, here we go. Now you guys tell me really quickly. Hold on, let me share this screen. Now, am I being inappropriate? Because I love to be inappropriate. Okay, here we go. So let's share this. So here's one of the models. Okay, but look at where they sew the seam on this. Here we go.
We gotta take Brady off.
Okay, there we go. Are you on it? Okay. Oh, I have to take Brady off. I apologize. What the hell am I doing? Go away, Brady.
All right. So there's the underwear. Got it.
Do you see the seam on the?
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I think they could.
Although I will say it probably makes the package look larger if there's that seam in the middle.
But it doesn't. It looks like, and I know that guys can't get. Oh, I know guys can't get camel toe. I know that you can't get camel toe, but I feel like it makes it look like you might have camel toe. Everybody just knows what camel toe is. Yes. I don't like
it. Just makes it look like it's more protruding, like a 3D effect. I've got the stitching right there.
Let's look.
Bring it in.
See, this guy, I don't know if no, I don't feel like this is no. And then he's hiding it. So I don't know, man.
But he wasn't up above. So we'll give it to him.
And so these are 5 pairs for $85.
Wow.
5. Yeah. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's Brady branded underwear. So Flo writes in, is his underwear line going to be named after his new movie 80s for Brady? I don't know. 1117 writes, looks like he has gas. Okay. Yeah, he does look awkward. I will agree with you there.
Just 17 bucks, $17 for a pair of underwear. Some moose knuckle, Nikki. All right. Okay.
I love the maturity level. I freaking love it. Yeah, $17 for a pair of name brand underwear. I'm sure people pay. I'm sure people would pay it. But the thing I think that they're missing, of course, is you need to have oh yeah, it does. It has Brady's name on it. So it's just gonna be like Calvin Klein's, where you hang your pants just low enough so people know what kind of underwear you're wearing. Which oh, Eric, you can always make any sort of TMA comment on here. $5 for the underwear, $80 for the Brady name. I hate the term camel toe. Can we just call it between the hills? Call whatever you want, man. You know what I'm talking about. That's all I need.
We have devolved here on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Oh, Jenny writes in $17 for a pair of push-up underwear.
Yeah, it is push-up underwear.
Is that what you think it is?
Yeah, with that stitching there, I think it's meant to enhance.
What would a stitch? Okay, maybe I'm just
enhance, lift, and push.
I mean, a stitch can do all that. That's quite the stitch. They do it. It has, you have to have the right pocket fill. Is that lying though? I mean, I guess if you're already down there, I don't think you probably care, right? I mean, it just doesn't matter. All right. Well, that's Brady.
You're not buying those for Mr. Medoro?
Mr. Medoro does not partake in the underwear fad at all. So we never have to worry about that. If my husband, this might be too much information, but it doesn't really matter because he knows. If he's wearing it, we're going to a wedding or a funeral. That's all I got to say. I mean, it's only special occasions only. Special occasions only. Yeah. Other than that,
commando kind of fella.
So is one of my best friends. She doesn't wear it either. She's like, nope.
Really?
There's a lot of people that I know actually that just are like, no way. Oh, I cannot participate in that community. I need
underwear. I feel like I need to have underwear. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I need a layer between me and my pants.
Right.
Or me and my whatever I'm wearing. If I don't, we'll just have an underwear talk. If I'm not wearing underwear, I'm thinking about the fact that I'm not wearing underwear the whole time I'm not wearing underwear. It's just one of those things. I don't need to live my life like that. There's enough stresses in this world than to be worried about the fact that I'm not wearing underwear. So this I like this. He also writes in the stitch Adds an inch. Now
Likely
that should be
so.
the slogan.
Mhm.
That could be the slogan of the entire thing. Oh, all right. I want to again give some thanks to people. I want to thank Harry, who gave us our first super chat donation.
Thank you, Harry.
Thank you. Hello to
He
Lori and Mark.
Lori and Mark above the bar. Yeah.
Yes. Here's to your
Cheers to
Medoro
you.
Mule. Cheers to you. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, if you're just joining us, take a look at this. This is at the Red Jack Saloon, which is in San Francisco. And now I have a drink special. It's called the Medoro Mule, along with Mark's Martini. So you can support the show by going and having it at the Red Jack Saloon. And my Medoro Mule is either vodka or bourbon with club soda and a splash of ginger beer. She had it exactly right.
Yeah.
Lori reached out to me over the weekend to tell me that she had finally gotten around. She's like, I finally got around. I'm like, this is the most amazing compliment I've ever had. I would have never even thought that someone would do something like that for me. So again, visit the Red Jack Saloon and have either a martini or a Medoro Mule. Warms the alcoholic spot in my heart right there.
And it's a cool neighborhood bar too. I
went on Yelp to kind of find the picture or whatever of the Red Jack Saloon. Yeah. Everybody says it's a great neighborhood kind of divey bar, which are my favorites. I don't like going to the clubs. I don't like going to places where I got to fight with people to get a drink. You know, I just want to go and enjoy myself and know the bartender and all those sorts of things. And everybody was praising Lori on Yelp, by the way. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, go to the Red Jack Saloon. If you go, whether you have the martini or the Medoro Mule, take a picture, send it to us. I'd love to see it because it's the most flattering thing that anyone has ever done. Okay, when we come back, we will get into the Grammys. I do have a poll up if you guys see it. And it gives an option if you don't watch the Grammys and you don't even care who Beyonce and Harry Styles is, of course. But do you think Beyonce was robbed? Now, I'll say this. My daughter 100% wanted Harry Styles to win, of course. I was sitting next to her thinking, well, Beyonce's got this. And I hate when I'm watching award ceremonies and I feel like they give it to the person because they were robbed the last time. Okay. So if it's an actor and I loved him or her in one movie and they didn't get it, but then they get it the next time for a movie I wasn't that enthralled with, I'm like, that's really for the other movie. But Beyonce, her albums are amazing. And, the fact that Renaissance, the issues that it was talking about and all of these sorts of things, people were like, no way is she going to get robbed this time. There were articles leading up to it. So I was saying, no, Beyonce has it. Beyonce has it. And then they announced Harry Styles won. And I love his album. I mean, it is a great album from beginning to end, which I think is the point of the award. But let me know, and I'll give the poll results as we talk about it in the second part of the show. Do you think that she was robbed? We'll go through some of the winners. You guys let me know if you liked the fans debating who should win Album of the Year. We'll have a bit of Harry's reaction to people saying Beyonce should have won. I will also reveal what one of the Grammy voters said about whether he would vote for Beyonce or Harry. And this, I think, leads to valid complaints about the whole entire system. Should we have an award named after Dr. Dre? Now, huge Dr. Dre fan, music-wise. Person-wise, not so much. Violent history, which on one hand, the hip hop industry has a lot of, people coming from neighborhoods in which there was a lot of violence. That's what they were raised with. That's what they know. But now we have an award named after him when there's abuse allegations from not that long ago. So was this appropriate? Also, Dave Chappelle won a Grammy for that same Netflix special that had everybody up in arms about it. So you guys let me know in the comments. Again, click the thumbs up button as well. We will get to some more thanks for people donating to the super chat. If you can, of course, please visit our website, thenikkimedoroshow.com. And right there, you will find a link to our Patreon, and it helps, get some money in my pocket and Kim's pocket. We really do appreciate it. thenikkimedoroshow@gmail.com is also a way for you to donate if you like to use PayPal. And of course, you can get some merch TheNikkiMedoroShop.com is where you can go to pick up shirts. I don't have anything up. My house is literal disaster. So hopefully we'll get it together soon. But you can go to TheNikkiMedoroShop.com. All of my new merchandise is there. There's hoodies. Let me show some pictures while I can. So we have the black hoodies with the air tower on the corner right there with the logo on the back. We also have it in
That's
white.
nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like it too. We have it in white as well. We have the AirPods. We have tumblers, we have coffee cups, we have all sorts of things. So TheNikkiMedoroShop.com is where you go to pick up all of that stuff. And I really appreciate it. And again, send me a picture if you do it, because I love to show off my listeners as well. All right. We'll talk Grammys next, right after Kim's news.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. Let's get right to it. Abortion may still be a constitutional right despite the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade last summer. A Washington, D.C. judge says the 13th Amendment may include reproductive rights. She says the Supreme Court's ruling only concluded that the 14th Amendment didn't have a right to abortion. Roe v. Wade was the decades-old decision which legalized abortion nationwide. A lot of people probably scrambling right now to look at the 13th Amendment and try to bring cases that may affect the law. Santa Clara County is the very first in the Bay Area to have a gun violence strike team. That's right. According to officials, the team will be based out of the Santa Clara County District Attorney's Office. It will receive nearly $1 million to add almost a dozen new positions. The team will be dedicated to getting illegal guns out of the hands of the wrong people and off the street. A primary focus of the team, people with restraining orders and those with a history of domestic abuse. This comes after shootings in Monterey Park near Los Angeles and Half Moon Bay near San Francisco, of course. The new positions include analysts and attorneys, as well as investors will work closely with law enforcement countywide. One county counting alone this year could throw off homeless numbers in the 9-county Bay Area. Amid COVID, Bay Area counties postponed the 2021 count until 2022. While to stay on track with counting every other year, all counties except Santa Clara County are opting to count again in 2024. Usually, the count is done at the same time across the Bay Area and the county. Getting an accurate count impacts both state and federal funding, so pretty important, right? But Santa Clara County's decision to count solo is raising concerns the region will not have a full understanding of the size and the characteristics of the Bay Area homeless population. Any inaccuracy also could lead to less insight on whether policies and programs and investments are needed and or are working. Legoland Resorts North American theme parks are becoming certified autism centers this spring. That involves the staff receiving specialized training and sensory guides at rides indicating whether they'll impact anyone on the autism spectrum. The parks will also offer quiet rooms and low sensory areas. Well done, Legoland. Matthew McConaughey, who's that? Oh, I wonder. He is set to voice an animated version of Elvis Presley. The series is to be called Agent Elvis. It will follow the king as he is inducted into a secret government spy program to fight against dark forces who threaten the country he loves. Interesting. The show was created by Priscilla Presley and John Eddy. Agent Elvis is expected to hit Netflix next month. Does it sound like a money-making opportunity to you? It doesn't sound like necessarily the best show, but hey, willing to give it a shot. A jury says Elon Musk did not defraud investors out of millions of dollars when he made claims about taking Tesla private. Musk previously issued several tweets about securing the money to do so, and that sent stocks fluctuating wildly. On Friday, a jury found Musk not liable. So there you have it. You didn't do it. Not to blame, right? And the Bay Area cities that are at the top of the list of the most affordable home mortgages in the nation, San Francisco, number one, if you can believe that, for monthly payments, down 15% since October when rates hit a peak. Oakland, fourth on the list. San Jose, sixth. This is mortgage rates, not necessarily the price of your house or the size of your mortgage. Hmm. Okay, this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. If you need help with your taxes, Steve Moskowitz is the one to call. He's at 888-TAX-STEAL. He's also at moskowitzllp.com. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim. I heard your story and I was trying to get back online because, again, I tried to restart my computer. It didn't do crap. But
you were gone, so I figured I put that one in there for you, but you didn't. Did you hear it?
No, I need to weigh in on Matthew McConaughey being Elvis. So I watched the trailer.
Okay.
I would put it up, but I'm sure I'd get nabbed by YouTube, so I'm not going to do it. So just Google it. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing to see a cartoon of Elvis, an animation of Elvis with Matthew McConaughey's voice. But I'm going to watch it. I mean, there's just...
I will say Matthew McConaughey has a really, really nice voice. You were better before. Now you're pixelated. Yeah, your connection was better last time. But well, I don't know. Whatever. We'll move forward.
We're going to move forward with it. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm really trying my best. I've tried everything. I think I need to restart my router, which I thought I did during the last break. But for some reason... it's not working, and it's really, really upsetting. I wish I had a Tony. I need a Tony, is what I really do. I need.
Everybody needs a Tony. Trust me. That guy's great.
I mean, and I don't like doing this thing live, but I'm looking in my network, and it says that I'm connected using my Ethernet cable. It says it's connected. It says my Wi-Fi is off, and yet StreamYard keeps trying to connect to my Wi-Fi, and I don't understand why that's happening. Anybody in the comments, did that even make sense?
No, so not so much. Wait, maybe people are typing. Eric says your voice and picture seem desynchronized, and that is true because you're having some moments where your face stalls a little bit, even though we can hear your voice.
I hate to have to end the show early, so I'm going to just try to continue to push through here. But if it's not making any sense, Kim, we might have to just try tomorrow.
I think you should disconnect and reconnect one more time.
Okay, I'm going to try one more time because I wanted to get into the Grammys. I pulled all this crap. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Thanks,
You be right back, and we will talk about the Grammys because there's a lot of people upset that Beyonce didn't get Album of the Year or any big awards, even though apparently the smaller awards that she's received have set a record to make her the all person with the most Grammys in history. So, I mean, that's pretty good. Do you feel like Beyonce got robbed, that she should have received more accolades than she received? I kind of feel like, someone in the chat said they took a vote, the person won that won, and that's the way it is. I don't, just because the person you wanted to win didn't win doesn't mean you need to get bitter beans about it. And I suspect Beyonce is far from ending her career. She's got more music in her. She's got more albums in her. And then here's the question too. Do you, and I guess put yourself in the shoes of an artist, do you as an artist make music to win an award? Is that your motivation? So if that's your motivation, I think you've got a problem. And if it is not your motivation, then who cares? Who gets the Grammy for the best album of the year? Doesn't matter. You put forth the art that you felt, that came from your soul, and let that speak to the world. What does an award matter? That's not what art is about anyway. So I don't know. I feel like it's kind of a big to-do about nothing. Questlove says, apparently, I didn't know this one, that Will Smith was supposed to perform at the Grammys, but backed out, understandably, right? Speaking to Variety, Questlove said Smith was set to be a part of the 50th year celebration of hip hop, but dropped out because he started shooting Bad Boys 4 this week. Yeah, that's the reason. Smith and Martin Lawrence announced they would be making the 4th installment of the franchise. The hip hop anniversary performance featured artists like Ice-T, Queen Latifah, and LL Cool J, just to name a few. I feel like Will Smith at an award ceremony, too soon. Am I wrong? You think? I don't know if I want him at the Grammys right now. I'm sure he would be on his best behavior. I'm sure everything would be fine. I don't know. You guys are thinking, yeah, you guys are thinking that Nikki's connection wasn't a big deal. Yeah, it's true. It's funny because we come from this radio background where, like, if our sound isn't perfect, and now visuals as well, like if things aren't exactly as they should be, that's a cause for, horrible concern. Like, we just can't move on with echoes in the ear, with things. And I think on this new platform, long as we can hear and see, sometimes it doesn't matter quite as much. Yes, we are using StreamYard, JR. That is the platform. It's interesting because some people would use, here she comes, some people would use Zoom. Other people use, I think, Twitter functions. But StreamYard is a platform that we've chosen, and it allows us to have welcome guests on. It allows us to put up pictures and videos. So in a lot of ways, it's a great platform. And in other ways, I think we've all found that its quality varies from day to day. Sometimes you're louder and softer, and you don't have the control that you would need. What do you do? Oh, you sound good. You look good.
Do I?
Yeah.
Good. Then let's just keep our fingers crossed because it's still saying that I'm attached to the Wi-Fi. I think maybe I need to connect with Xfinity, who does my internet.
Right.
Maybe. I don't know. Fingers crossed. Let's just get to the show because I'm done. I apologize. I will get it together tomorrow and the next day.
You sound good. And as people are saying in the chat, doesn't matter. As long as we can hear you, you're good to go. Rock on.
Okay, there we go. All right. So how's my poll doing? Kim, I don't know if you could pull up the show to look at the poll that we're doing. Oh, I think I could do it.
I don't know how to get to that.
Just go to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, let's look at the poll. So I put up a poll. Do you think Beyonce was robbed, or do you not even care about this crap? Like, and I know sometimes, like, my husband is like, I'm not going to watch the Grammys because I don't know who any of these people are anymore. But now that we have kids who are like into music,
yeah.
Now I'm into more current music as well. They did a huge tribute with Motown, which was awesome. If you guys, Smokey Robinson, so many people, Stevie Wonder. Someone made a joke about Stevie Wonder that he wears a hat now because people have been making fun of his receding hairline. I think that's really mean. You can't make fun of Stevie Wonder. He's amazing. So you're not allowed to do that. I'm sorry. So let's see. I'm trying to find the poll. Does anybody know? But anyways.
I'm supposed to vote. It just makes me. Okay, yes. So should Beyonce have won album of the year over Harry Styles? 15% said yes. 43% say no.
Ooh.
And it keeps closing on me. Who? 26% say who? And I would have chosen another nominee, 15%.
Okay, yeah. So ABBA, Brandy Carlisle. Yeah. Now, being robbed of something like best album of the year, I agree with Harry Styles during a speech. It's extremely subjective. I mean, it's what you like, what you listen to, right? So let's see. Let's go through some of the Grammy winners. Lizzo won as well. I love this picture.
What did she win for?
She won for best record, I believe. Hold on, let's just bring up the Grammy winners. She won, for record of the year.
Between best record and best album.
So record, I think is, I don't know. Can somebody tell me in the chat? That is a very good question. There's record of the year and album of the year.
I mean, it's the same thing. A record is an album, right? Unless a record is a singular recording. I don't know.
Yeah, but then what's the difference between song of the year then? Because there's song of the year, album of the year, and record of the year. Album of the year is the top one. And then it goes record, and then it goes song. So, okay, so let's see. Record of the year was obvious. Record of the year was Lizzo. Album of the year was Harry Styles, Harry's House. And then song of the year, which was a huge shock, Bonnie Raitt won for song of the year. For Just Like That, which I don't know the song. Okay, so they're saying one song. Okay, then why do they have song of the year?
So here it is, according to a Grammys website, an explainer.
Okay, go.
The record of the year is presented by the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences in the U.S. That award, being presented since 1959, is given to both the performer of the song and the recording engineers who took part in producing the song. The award highlights not just the performer, but also the production
Oh,
of the song, which is different. The Album of the Year trophy, also presented by the same group, is awarded for an entire album. It is presented to the artist, featured artists, songwriter, producer, recording engineer, and mastering engineer who have made a significant contribution to that album.
that makes sense. That makes sense. And so then I would say that Song of the Year is just the song, and it doesn't have anything to do with the people. It's just the song.
Well, I mean, it's presented to whoever wrote the song and performed the song, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bonnie Raitt won for that. I have not heard Just Like That. I can't play Just Like That because YouTube will click me.
Zap you,
Newest,
yeah.
best new artist, Samara Joy, who I had never heard of. Never knew that. Best pop solo performance was Adele, Easy on Me. Now, people were thinking that if Beyonce lost, it was going to be to Adele, not to Harry Styles.
There was a time last year where that song was always in my head, Easy on Me.
Yeah. Oh, Easy on Me. You know what song is now in everybody's head because they will not stop playing it. Also won yesterday, which was Unholy by Sam Smith and Kim Petras. Kim Petras being the first transgender woman ever to win in that category.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And not the only thing, I mean, it was like that song just constantly. I mean, you know the song. Okay, you've heard it. But when she came out there and she's giving her speech and she says that she's the first transgender woman, I had no idea until she said it. I look at my husband and I go, now you're telling me that if this woman went into the women's bathroom, anyone would be able to tell? And it's no. And so when people are like, you want transgender people in the bathroom with your kids, I'm like, it's already been happening, people. Like, just get over it. But yeah, so she won as best duo with Sam Smith for that song Unholy, which has just been done to death. Okay, we're going to get into the Beyonce controversy and also the Dr. Dre controversy. We'll throw a little Dave Chappelle in there as well, since we were just talking about Kim Petras. But right now we want to go to, if you have to give out best awards, I would give the best award, Kim, to the one and only Steve Moskowitz with
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back from your amazing vacation, Steve.
Well, thank you very much. Had a great time. I was off in Hawaii.
Nice.
And, everything's very nice there. The air is just so beautiful and the temperature was great and the ocean, of course. But I was looking forward to coming back today, and today's the first day back. And I'm very energized and looking forward to doing all kinds of good things for your viewers and all the things that we've talked about, like with the ERC, that's still going strong, where, even you can get an employer can get up to $26,000 for every employee that they had in 2020 and 2021 that qualifies. And it's not a loan. It's a gift from the government, just like PPP was. And there's other programs like for restaurants with RRF, and for performing arts, there's still a separate program the government's giving away. But still to this day, people question, well, why should I do that? I said, well, because the government is giving you the money. Basically, they're rewarding you for employing people during the pandemic. And people, some people have fears about it. And again, if you're legally entitled to something, by all means, you should take it. And a lot of people say, well, how do you qualify? And there's two different ways to qualify: an objective and a subjective test. You only need one. The objective test is really easy. Your gross revenue went down by a certain amount. If it does, that's it. 1 + 1 is 2, nothing to argue about. But a lot of firms are ignoring the more difficult one, the subjective one. They don't want to be bothered. But we've talked before on my vacation that so much money was being left on the table. But our firm is willing, if your gross, we go the easy way first too. If you qualify on a drop in gross revenue, well, that's it. But if you don't, and you've been turned away by another firm, then we're willing to do the work. And sometimes we have to have multiple meetings with you and give you some homework. But if you qualify, even though somebody else said that you don't, it's the fact that you don't meet the objective test has nothing to do with the subjective test. If you qualify under the facts and circumstances, you're entitled to every bit as much money as the objective test, and we want to get you every penny to which you're legally entitled.
You haven't missed a beat, Steve. That Hawaiian vacation did you very, very well. So we always appreciate you coming on, being an exclusive founding sponsor of this show. I apologize if I look a little pixelated to you, but you look gorgeous to me.
You've got a little color.
Yes, that was brought up to me by a person. I am not a, sheet. I did get a little bit of color. I have to be a little careful there. I wearing up in the burn unit. But yeah, I got a little bit of color. And I was, missing both you guys, Kim and Nikki, and thinking about this and looking forward to my first day back with you.
I always like your shirts. Did we pick up any new Hawaiian shirts on the island?
I have so many Hawaiian shirts that I didn't, but I guess, they're always available. There's no shortage of Hawaiian shirts.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for taking a vacation, coming back, and Steve's going to work hard for you. He's nice, rested, and relaxed, and ready to do anything you need for your small business, whether it's taxes, HR, accounting, what have you. AAA Tax Deal, MoskowitzLLP.com, 888 Tax Deal, or MoskowitzzLLP.com.
And that's what I missed most.
There you go. I knew you did. We'll talk again soon. Thanks, Steve.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm going to see if we can try to get him to wear a Hawaiian shirt on Aloha Friday. That's every Friday, by the way. Maybe I can wrangle him. He's got other business calls, so he might thwart me on that, but we'll see.
It's kind of cool to have a suit with the Hawaiian shirt underneath it. Maybe we can do that.
Talk about cool.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, Hawaiian vacation. If there was ever, somebody that deserves a nice vacation.
You can hear it in his voice. He seems more relaxed and he's always chill.
Vacations will do that for you. You know what I mean? That's
he's got a vibe. He's got the island vibe. I like it.
Exactly. All right. So let's get into it, people. All right. So again, many of you being robbed of something like an award isn't something that can actually happen. I had played you the sound earlier in the show at the opening of the show of someone yelling, Beyonce should have won. I think that's rude. I think it's not needed. I think that it takes away from the hard work that the artist that won gave, right? But then you have stories coming out like this about the Grammy voters. So this was in Variety. And they didn't give the names, of course, but they talked to a number of Grammy voters. They spoke with 5 industry figures on the condition of anonymity to find out how Recording Academy members really made their decisions. So let's just go through some of them. Voter 1 was a music manager who has been a Grammy voter for 15 plus years. For Record of the Year, they picked Steve Lacy's Bad Habit for both record and song.
I like that song.
I like that song too. They say it's pop music that doesn't sound like pop music. They also said, I love ABBA, but I did not love the record. The Harry Styles record was really good. And then they mentioned this, which was funny. They said there are certain artists like Brady Carlisle that are very good for the Grammy, so I understand why she's there. But that record did not do much for me. So it's like, we have to not make it so poppy or what's on the radio.
Yeah.
But I feel many people do look at the Grammys like that. They're like, no, I want to. If you're asking me what should win an award, it's so many of the songs that I've constantly been listening to. So I get that. But the one voter that's getting a lot of attention is this voter 4, a music business veteran in his 70s. Okay, so he's in his 70s and he's a music business veteran. This is what they wrote him. I try to be ecumenical, but there's a significant percentage of music I've never heard of. It's a lot of work to listen to all of it. I guess I'm a bad voter because I did not do my due diligence. So right off the bat, you're like, well, you shouldn't be voting anyway. Right? I mean, you're basically saying you didn't give everybody the best shot. Then he writes in, or she, but that's my right. I voted for ABBA. Okay, this person voted for ABBA. They used to get short shrift because they were dismissed as pop fluff, but I've always been a fan. So now remember, he's written this. He says, I voted for ABBA today because back in the day, they were dismissed as pop fluff. And then he writes this. The new album is not their best ever, but it's pretty good. I really hope they win. Okay. Now that was for Record of the Year. Then we go to album of the year. And again, he says ABBA. With Beyonce, and this is what has everybody up in an uproar. With Beyonce, the fact that every time she does something new, it's a big event and everybody is supposed to quake in their shoes is a little too portentous. I told Harry Styles' origin story against him. He's from a boy band, and I never took those acts seriously.
What does that have to do with what they're putting out now?
And what did he just say about ABBA? That back in the day, they were dismissed as pop fluff, and then he's dismissing as pop fluff these current people. It's insane that this person, and I know that it's obviously anonymous and we don't know who this person is, but when you add that into the conversation, it does seem wrong in a way. Like, I don't know how you fix it. Do you make everybody, because with media awards, there's, the judges that judge it, and they basically sit in a room and they have to listen to everything. And that's the way I think it should be done.
It should be. Absolutely. It should be done that way. That way we know. They should all gather. They should all have to listen to everything. And there should be discussions. Yes.
Absolutely. You should debate it similar to the fans that were debating who should win album of the year. Sit around, make your case. I feel like, should we care? Let me ask you this. Should we care that, Beyonce dealt with LGBTQ issues, that she's a Black woman, that she dealt with race issues? Do those things matter? Or should it only matter that it's a great album that gets people up and dancing and, has these catchy songs? Break My Soul, when it was released, was everywhere on the radio. I'm not a huge Beyonce fan. I do like her music. There's not a time where I'm listening to Beyonce and I'm like, turn this crap off. But I listen more to Harry Styles for obvious reasons because of my daughter. And I thought that the album was great. Did I listen to ABBA? No. Did I listen to Brady Carlisle? No. Did I listen to I think Bad Bunny was up for album. I might have that wrong. Should I have voted for Adele? I haven't heard all of Adele's latest album. So I don't know. It just seems if I'm going to be a Grammy voter, I should, because it holds so much importance to these people and to their work and everybody that worked on it, to have someone openly admit, you know what, I didn't do my due diligence and that's why I didn't vote for Beyonce. But oh, by the way, we're supposed to quake in our shoes every time she releases something and Harry Styles is from a boy band. I think it's really insulting to the work that people put into it.
Agree. Yeah.
John writes in, people put too much stock in the awards. I watch the Grammys because I might find out about some good music and some performances. That's a good point. All right. Okay. So from Beyonce to Dr. Dre. Now, you don't have to like hip hop music to kind of weigh in on this. So there was the very first award given out for Dr. Dre. It was named after him. And let me bring it up because I want to make sure that I'm describing this right. It was basically an award that was looking at his past and in hip hop, and leading into it, they did this whole montage of Dr. Dre and Busta Rhymes. There was a bunch of people that were part of this hip hop tribute, and it was quite long. LL Cool J was part of it. And then they decided to name this award after Dr. Dre. And I want to bring it up because, of course, I don't have it in front of me. So the Roots was there. Run DMC was there. DJ Jazzy Jeff, who was with the Fresh Prince, you guys might remember. Queen Latifah, Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, DJ Khaled, Jay-Z. Some people were saying Jay-Z should have walked out after Beyonce didn't win. Okay, it's called Dr. Dre's Global Impact Award. That's what it's called. And he was being celebrated. And a lot of people were saying, wait, what are we doing? Are we really celebrating Dr. Dre? Now, it is alleged back in 1991. Actually, Dr. Dre admits it too. Dr. Dre punched a journalist by the name of Dee Barnes repeatedly, then threw her through a bathroom door before throwing her down a flight of stairs. Now, this was in 1991. Ms. Barnes sued Dr. Dre. The case was later settled out of court. Dr. Dre responded at the time in a Rolling Stone interview saying, I just did it, Ain't nothing you can do about it now by talking about it. Besides, it ain't no big deal. I just threw her through a door. Okay?
This is what he says now?
Well, that's what he said in the Rolling Stone interview back then.
Lord.
Since the incident, Ms. Barnes has, been giving interviews. She says she's been blacklisted. She shared that she lost her career and safety for speaking about the extreme violence she faced at the hands of Dr. Dre. On the contrary, of course, Dr. Dre has only moved forward in his career and now actually has an a Grammy Award named after him.
Mm-hmm.
He's being praised as one of the most accomplished producers in American history. He's had 7 Grammys. Now, obviously, abuse allegations have followed him. And then the most recent one, of course, is his estranged wife. This article is only from 2021. Dr. Dre's estranged wife, Nicole Young, detailed several instances of alleged abuse from Dr. Dre. Now, this was 5 months after filing for divorce. She alleged that Andre Young, which is his name, his legal name, held a gun to my head twice in 2000 and 2001. He punched me in the head and face in 1999 and 2000. And he kicked down a door while she hid from his rage in 2016. 2016 is not that long ago. She went on to say, Andre has verbally and emotionally decimated my personhood to the extent that I currently suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome. Obviously, Dr. Dre has denied the abuse. He says at no time did I ever abuse Nicole or threaten her safety. But given the past allegations against him, I don't think it's much of a stretch to think that something physical may have happened.
No.
Is it right to give awards to people that have this kind of history?
Well, and then it gets back to the question about the art versus the artist.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And
yes.
so, I mean, do we want to recognize him? He seems like he has some anger issues, that he doesn't feel like violence against women is a big deal, but people love his music. So what's the award for? Is the award a Humanitarian of the Year award, or is the award for his music? And where does the line ever blur where we can just focus on one thing and not the other?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I feel like it's just, on one hand, I'm full disclosure, I like Dr. Dre's music. I do. I do think he's an amazing producer. Oh yeah. The beats that he has had and laid on some of these songs has been amazing. I'm not going to knock it. It's one of those things where the art versus the artist, you can't say that the music's not catchy, that it doesn't have a great beat, that he hasn't, had these great collaborations. That's true. But what's also true is that he threw this journalist through a door and allegedly abused his wife. So what do we do with that information? Why is it, let's just say, okay to listen to Dr. Dre's music, but not R. Kelly's music for some people? Now, obviously the crimes are different, but still criminal.
I was thinking about this last night, actually, when I was looking for a movie to watch, and I looked at one that was kind of interesting, but it had Kevin Spacey in it. And I thought,
okay.
And my stomach kind of did a flip-flop, and I thought, I'm not interested. And it's not that I don't think he's a really good actor. I just really wasn't interested in seeing his face at this time.
What movie was it? Do you remember?
It was some movie with Gerard Butler. I'm on a Gerard Butler movie kick right now.
Oh, okay.
So, so I forget the name of the movie, but I just decided I didn't want to watch that because he was in it. So I think as, consumers of music or movies or entertainment, we all have the right to choose what's important to us, whether it's just the art or the artist or a combination of both.
Are you going to see the Michael Jackson biopic?
Probably not. But I wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, I guess the story of his life is interesting, but I feel like I kind of know it already.
So, yeah, that's true. Like, we know everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the fact that it's his nephew that's playing him is kind of interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah, but we know Michael Jackson's story. Like, we know the history, and if they don't include all of it, we're gonna think that it's total BS anyway, right?
Right.
So. And then finally, before we go to Kim's news, I'm going to throw this last one in. Dave Chappelle, he won Best Comedy Album at the Grammys for his special, The Closer, which received, of course, backlash because of the transgender community and the jokes that he made there. He beat out Louis C.K., the one that's canceled, not canceled. I don't know. again, is the Grammys wrong for awarding something to Dave Chappelle because there's controversy about it, or should it not matter? I mean, should awards be given? And when you give these awards, does the whole person have to be taken into account, or only kind of the product, the song, those sorts of things? Now, I would say that Dr. Dre is different from Dave Chappelle in the fact that the product in and of itself that you're giving the award for is what is so controversial, is what had people up in an uproar about it. So it kind of makes it a little bit different. But I wasn't surprised to see that Dave Chappelle had won. It was part of a $60 million four-special deal between Chappelle and Netflix. And then in February of last year, they announced another 4 specials is going to happen as well. So it's not like Dave Chappelle is taking it in the shorts, or Louis C.K., who sold out Madison Square Gardens, is not getting paid. It doesn't seem to matter either way. So I feel like this is just going to continue, and it's going to be up to, like Kim said, the individual to decide whether or not you want to see Kevin Spacey's face on your TV, or if you want to go pay to go see Michael Jackson's biopic. It's going to have to be on a case-by-case basis, because if you're waiting for business, the Grammys, Netflix, to be the barometer of what's right and wrong, you'll always be disappointed. You'll always be disappointed.
Well, and as we have seen with Chappelle, you know, people want venues to be held accountable for selling out his shows.
Well, they'll always sell out.
Well, then don't buy the tickets.
Yeah.
Right. And the venue won't book him.
But I think that it's just overwhelming. I think that's the thing. You're like, I'm not going to go see Louis C.K. Okay, but he just sold out Madison Square Garden, so you're in the minority, and it can feel like it doesn't matter, and that abuse of women doesn't matter, and assault doesn't matter, and that's where it becomes really difficult. I don't know. It's just,
if people weren't interested and the tickets weren't selling, then the venues wouldn't be booked.
Exactly.
End of story. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. We have some pretty good news for the 49ers that we'll end with. Again, we'll tease. Hopefully I'll get my computer situated better.
You sound great right now.
Okay,
everything's good.
Yeah. Okay, good. So knock on wood. We're going to be recording something right after this show with John Rothman, which is very exciting. I have not had John Rothman on my show yet, and that's going to air tomorrow, because also tomorrow night is the State of the Union. But we'll talk about all of that after Kim's news. We'll get to some good news for 49ers fans, although I'm taking it with a grain of salt at this point. But that's all.
Now, from around the world to up your street, the Nikki Medoro Show presents News Czar Kim McAllister.
And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz at 888 Tax Deal. A sad situation going on today. More than 3,000 people now dead because of earthquakes that ravaged Turkey and Syria. Just a little over half of those deaths have occurred in Turkey. The first quake, a magnitude 7.8, the second tremor just below that. And of course, lots of aftershocks. The White House says the flying of a suspected Chinese surveillance balloon over the United States is absolutely unacceptable. The press secretary today said China's irresponsible actions were visible for the Americans and the world to see. The U.S. military is currently recovering debris from the balloon that was shot down. You can see it being shot down here off the coast of South Carolina over the weekend. Big news. Whoop-de-whoop-de. The National Enquirer is being sold. Will it still be a trashy, nasty, gossipy thing? Maybe, probably. The celebrity tabloid became known for suppressing negative stories about former President Trump during his 2016 campaign. That included an alleged affair Trump had with a former Playboy model. A360 Media is selling the publication to VVIP Ventures in a cash deal for an undisclosed price. Assemblymember David Alvarez here in California is introducing a bill which would make it easier for students who live in Mexico to attend college in California. The bill would create a 5-year pilot program allowing low-income students who live in Mexico within 45 miles of the California border to pay in-state tuition to attend one of 7 campuses in the San Diego and Imperial Valley County Community College District. Under the bill, each participating college would host up to 200 binational students during the pilot phase of the program. There is a cyclist in the hospital after an accident with actor and former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. TMZ reporting Schwarzenegger was behind the wheel of a vehicle that hit a woman on a bicycle in Brentwood Sunday morning. The woman's condition not clear. TMZ reports the crash was a simple traffic accident and that no crime is suspected. And Tom Brady, 80 for Brady, says he's going to most likely start his broadcasting career with Fox in the fall of next year. Brady revealing the news during Colin Cowherd's show, The Herd, the 7-time Super Bowl winner announcing his retirement last week. Brady signing a 10-year deal worth $375 million to become the #1 football analyst for the network once he retired. The longtime quarterback said decompression is important and he wants to take some time to really learn and become great at what he wants to do. And I don't know what you think about this one, Nikki, but you could be paying different prices at the movie theater depending on where you sit. AMC Theaters now introducing a new ticket pricing initiative based on seat location. The chain is launching Sightline at AMC, where moviegoers can pay more or less for a ticket depending on where they choose to sit. There will be 3 different seat pricing options, including the traditional ticket called Standard Sightline, seats in the front row, dubbed Value Sightline, and Preferred Sightline, which are in the middle of the auditorium. It launches Friday at select AMC locations in New York, Chicago, and Kansas City. The plan is to expand the initiatives to all domestic AMC locations by the end of the year. So, you know those seats nobody wants in the front where you got to crane your neck to look up at the seat? Those are the cheap seats. And this report sponsored by tax attorney Steve Moskowitz. For more than 30 years, Steve has put his tax knowledge to work for individuals and for businesses. If you need help with your taxes, we'll get Steve in a Hawaiian shirt. I'll give you a little mahalo and do your taxes for you. 888 tax deal, MoskowitzLLP.com. I'm Kim McAllister on the Nikki Medoro Show.
Thank you, Kim. Yeah, I'm really hoping to figure everything out. I think I might have figured out my problem. I don't think I'm fully connected to my internet. I don't know. But that's why I'm pixelated. But thank you for everyone for being patient. I'm back in my new house. I am only renting it. I wish I could buy. But even pixelated, I'm here for you. And we're going to keep this thing going. Please click the thumbs up. It helps support the show. We really do appreciate it. Again, please become a Medorable. Donate to our Patreon. Any amount that you want. Seriously, any amount you want that you can afford every single month. It really helps us out. Just go to thenikkimedoroshow.com. Our Patreon link is there, along with some past shows that you can share with your family and friends. Remember, you could just grab your family's phone, show them the Nikki Medoro Show, and then let them know that we really appreciate all the support. The super chat is live. I really appreciate all of you. Let me give some shout outs. CR, I love this because you talked about underwear. I'm glad I could bring this up. We were talking about Tom Brady's new underwear brand called Brady Brands. I'm sure a lot of thinking went into that name. But yeah, CR, thank you for the $20 donation in the super chat. Another $20 from Harry, talking about the Harry. Medoro mule. Thank you. Let me show that picture again. Let me take that off. Oh, well, we could show that picture. Yes, Kim.
No, that's not the one you were talking about? No? Oh, okay.
I was going to show the drink special. You could show Tom Brady in his underpants anytime you want to. That's fine.
No,
this is the Red Jack Saloon. Yeah. Lori bartends. Does she own this bar?
I want to say yes, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's just give her the bar. She owns. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know the bar.
She works there. Red Jack Saloon. It's in San Francisco. I think it's in the North Beach area, if I was looking correctly. But Red Jack Saloon not only has the martini that she did for him with some proceeds going to the Mark Thompson show, but now has the Medoro Mule, which is my favorite drink that I talk about all the time. So it's either vodka or bourbon, club soda, and a splash of ginger beer. And so you can go to the Red Jack Saloon and order the Medoro Mule. And I don't know why, Kim, but I'm just totally getting a kick out of this. I just am. I think it's so awesome. I've never had anybody do something like this for me. And so thank you, Lori. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really, really do appreciate it. And it's an awesome way, of course, of supporting the show. You can also buy some merchandise at the NikkiMedoroShop.com. And if you like PayPal, PayPal's always up and running, the Nikki Medoro Show at gmail.com. All right.
Red Jack Saloon, by the way, at 131 Bay Street in San Francisco.
B-A-Y?
Bay.
All right. All right. And so go visit, have a drink. Kim, we're going to have to meet there.
Yep.
And your one drink a month you're going to have with me. So I was telling something. We were talking about drinking last week. And I was telling my friends over the weekend. I was like, Kim, who's on the show with me, she said that she maybe drinks once a month. And they all looked at me like, really? And I said, yeah. So then I looked like a total lush. I was like, she asked me, she's like, well, how much do you drink? I'm like, way more than once a month. That's for sure. But yeah,
I don't begrudge you for your evening cocktail. You know.
It was funny. It was just funny. You're like, maybe once a month. I was like, oh, you're really, really good. Yeah. So that was a really fun conversation. So we're going to have a once a month beverage maybe at the Red Jack Saloon and go drink the mules.
Meet you there. Let's do it.
There we go. Now, speaking of San Francisco, let's talk San Francisco 49ers. So remember last week, we were talking about how we don't know who our quarterback's going to be. Yeah. I think it's definitely going to be Trey Lance or Brock Purdy, even though the great himself, Joe Montana, was saying, you put Jimmy in. Jimmy Garoppolo has actually won. Led us far till he got injured. He's won games. Not saying Brock Purdy hasn't, but people were thinking that Brock Purdy was going to be way out because he needed that Tommy John surgery. Well, now the NBC Sports Bay Area's Matt Mayoko says he might not need Tommy John surgery. Actually, I want to give credit where credit is due. This is both the Athletics' Matt Barrows and Matt Mayoko from NBC Sports Bay Area. We're talking about this. Now they're saying he might not need it. If he doesn't need Tommy John surgery, he won't be out as long. And if he's not out as long, he can train in the offseason and come back. So it's going to be a really interesting thing to watch. I wish there was a place for Jimmy Garoppolo. I really do. I think that he didn't do anything wrong. I think that he has led us so far, so many times, has done so well, and people just don't give him credit. Kind of similar, just to kind of make the bridge, to President Biden. You know what I'm saying? Like, the guy he's got us through the freaking pandemic. He tried to get people vaccinated. He's helping businesses. He's bringing business back to the United States. He's trying to do so much and yet gets zero credit for it. So again, I'll be talking to John Rothman and we'll air the interview tomorrow. I want his take on, of course, that because President Biden is giving his State of the Union address tomorrow night. But Kamala Harris, there was an article talking about staffers who don't think that she's been living up to the goal, the challenge, what have you, being vice president. And is it fair, or is this another example of women having to reach a bar that no man has ever had to meet when they were in this exact same position? I mean, really, seriously, it's vice president. And I'm not poo-pooing it, but she's not president of the United States. And I'll ask John what he thinks about that. Like, what vice presidents do you really remember from having like such a huge impact on this country? Part of me, just, in my life, just most recently, I mean, Mike Pence had to take over the COVID kind of face of the response because Trump was just completely ridiculous every time they put a microphone in front of him. Mm-hmm. So the task force, it was up to the vice president. But, is it the role of the vice president to kind of steal the limelight from the president of the United States? I think in this case, given President Biden's age, there was a hope that she would, I don't know, make more of a positive impact. So we'll talk about that. We'll air that tomorrow. And I'm really curious on what John Rothman has to say about that. Did you see what skateboarding star Tony Hawk is doing?
No.
So anybody, you should know who Tony Hawk is. He's an amazing skateboarder. I mean, he has decided that he's going to preserve the memory of Tyree Nichols. Now, you remember Tyree Nichols was the man that was beaten by police officers and died a few days later. The body cam footage that we haven't seen. I mean, you've seen it, still images of it, but they've been airing it because the media did it. It's another kind of George Floyd type of thing where you don't understand why they're using that much force on somebody. And of course, tragically, he died. Tony Hawk said in a tweet on Friday, he is going to donate half of the proceeds of autographed photo cards of himself and BMX rider Rick Thorne to a memorial fund for Tyree Nichols. The proceeds will go to the fund, and it includes plans to build a public skate park in his honor.
Oh, wow. That's nice.
Nichols was a skateboarder as well, a talented skater among his many other, this is Tony Hawk writing, admirable traits. Let's keep his legacy alive. Now, if you want, let me bring up the website for you. You can buy some of these photo cards. You know what I love about it? He's not like gouging people on these cards. You figure you could, right? But here it's $30. It's a limited edition Tony Hawk and Rick Thorne autographed 8x10 card. So there you go. There's Tony Hawk right there. It's signed by both. And so if you want to kind of donate some funds to Tyree Nichols skate park.
Yeah.
I think that's a great way of remembering somebody. You
really
know?
Nice. Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to erase, obviously, the tragedy that happens to him. But, you know, it's just so upsetting. Oh, and here's another picture. That's them both. God, Tony Hawk's getting old. Doesn't it make you feel old when you see Tony Hawk? The funny thing, I've ever heard Tony Hawk ever tell, I mean, amongst many. So this was like in recent years. I don't know how long ago. He was in the airport. And of course, they look at his ID or his passport or something. And it says Anthony Hawk, you know? And they're like, you have the same name as Tony Hawk. He's like, yeah. And he's like, has anyone ever told you that you look like him? And he's like, I get that sometimes. And it was just, I might be butchering the story, but it was basically like the person said, you kind of look like Tony Hawk, and had no comprehension that the Tony Hawk that you know of, and he still skateboards and he's still amazing. He has aged a bit, people. We have definitely aged a bit. Yeah. So, but he's still doing amazing. And I think that what he's doing for Tyree Nichols and his family is awesome. I know that you did this on Mark Thompson's show, Kim McAllister, but I have to end the show with this story because I was cracking up. And it made me ponder, you know, I had a pretty traditional type of marriage proposal. Okay. You know, it was New Year's Eve. Friends were around, you know, it was sweet. It was nice. It wasn't, you know, in a destination or a location that is, you know, unique, let's just say. But it was nice and I loved it. It was fine. I don't know if I would want to be proposed to inside a Cracker Barrel. But apparently Cracker Barrel is offering free food for a year to anyone who proposes at the restaurant on Valentine's Day.
Now, you don't have to get married. You just have to tape record a proposal and send it to them. And then I guess you get the free food, right?
You don't have to prove it? Because I would feel like everybody, I mean, I'll go. I'll take my wedding ring off. I'll hand it over to you. Like, no. I've only eaten in a Cracker Barrel twice, I think. In Kentucky, and then I think we were driving home from someplace. They have pretty good pancakes. I think that's all I had. But I mean, do you think that, and I know that we're, you know, married ladies, right? But do you think that if you were sitting in a Cracker Barrel and you don't know that this is coming, and a guy reaches over and pulls out a ring, or a girl, whatever, and pulls out a ring and proposes, don't you think at some point you're gonna be like, are you really proposing to me
at a
in the middle of a Cracker Barrel?
Would
that make you say yes or no? I mean, would it come into play at all?
I think, you know, by the time I said yes, I knew I was going to marry the man I married.
Right.
And so and matter where he asked me, no, he asked me in our little city apartment that we were living in at the time. And then we went to the top of the mark. So we went fancy after that. Would I have said no if he asked at a Cracker Barrel? Probably not. I knew he was the one anyway, but would I have been disappointed? that it, maybe I would have like not liked to tell the story, or would have told it with a certain spin on the humor there. I don't know.
I mean, if the Cracker Barrel meant something, if we worked there together,
Right.
if it was where our first date, if there was some sort of special thing, but if I found out that the reason why he or she popped the question at a Cracker Barrel
free
is because we
food?
can get free food for a year, I'd be like, this is my life. I am marrying somebody who is this, and I want to say cheap because that's a pretty good deal. I mean, free food for a year, no matter where you go, is a really good deal. But I don't know.
Now, maybe if he said, okay, listen, I'm going to ask you a Cracker Barrel, but the real asking, or ask you somewhere else first and then say,
then go to Cracker Barrel.
Let's do it at Cracker Barrel too, or something. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, and then do you act it up if you did something like that? You're like, oh, you're not really, like, do you get really excited? Or do you just kind of be like, oh yeah, I mean, I don't know. And Judy writes
all kinds
in,
of racist incidents at Cracker Barrel. Like, do we even want to go to Cracker Barrel?
It's called Cracker Barrel. I don't know. I do know that they got a lot of heat because they introduced either Impossible Meat or Beyond Meat in their sausage patties, and a bunch of rednecks in the middle of the country were all pissed off about it. Like, oh, this restaurant's going woke because it has Beyond Meat or Impossible Meat. And like Cracker Barrel's like, calm down. Still have your regular fatty sausage for you. Don't worry, Billy Bob, you'll be fine. That Cracker Barrel looks like a Cattleman's. No.
That's what I was going to say. It looks exactly like Cattleman's.
Does it?
I've never been. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's very Western outside with the big kind of porch and, the flat with the raised sign like that. Yeah. It looks like Cattleman's.
All right. Well, maybe it was an old Cattleman's that they changed into a Cracker Barrel. Who the heck knows? But I don't know. Are there any Cracker Barrel fans proposing in a restaurant? What if they say no? Anywhere that's really public. Like my husband, who was becoming my fiance, yes, he asked me on New Year's Eve when we were surrounded by family, or not family, but friends. I wasn't going to say no, and he knew it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he was worried about what my response was going to be. But if he was questioning it in any way, I don't think that I would want a public proposal. Don't bet that she or he is going to say yes. And certainly don't do it in a place in which you may walk away embarrassed, because I can't even imagine what it must feel like if you propose to somebody and they say no, like in a fancy schmancy restaurant. That would just be the worst. Yeah. And Lori, you're right. Obviously, if the place means something to you, I hands down agree. But if it doesn't, and you're just doing it to get free food for however long, I don't know about that. JR writes in, Cracker Barrel is a Southern staple. If you grew up with it, you love it. Yeah. And Cracker Barrel, they have the big store, right? I mean, they have the store where you could shop and they get you a
country store.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
Old country store.
I mean, they have all kinds of little knickknacks and magnets and toys and all. Oh yeah, it does kind of look like a Cattleman's.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, a little bit different, but yeah. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I don't know. If you have any interesting proposals, let me know. We'll maybe go through them later on this week. Like the best place to propose or the worst. I mean, the worst place I would have to say, like if you're sick, you know what I mean? Or something weird's happening. Like my dad proposed to my mom, I believe, at his mom's funeral.
Oh, why?
I might have that wrong. I'll double check on that.
Your mom's screaming at her computer right now going, that is not true, Nikki.
No, she's usually busy in the 1 o'clock hour, or she would. I'll have to ask, because I remember the story of him proposing. She was like, right now, and he's like, what better time? It was something like that. I'll get the story. Maybe I'll get them on to tell the story.
My parents were engaged on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh, I love that.
Apparently, it used to be a tradition, now environmentally unsound, but it used to be a tradition to have like a fake ring to throw off the bridge. Like, so you had the real one, and then you had the fake one. Yeah. Pew.
That's terrible. That's a terrible tradition. I don't like that at all. What if you throw the wrong one? Can you imagine?
I can't.
You're like, hey, dumbass, don't be throwing things off the bridge.
Never
anyway.
getting that back again.
No, you are not. All right. Thank you for everyone for putting up with all of my glitches today. Hopefully, I will have it figured out tomorrow. We should. I think, here's the thing. When I launched our Wi-Fi yesterday, because we finally got everything in, I knew it was way too easy. I knew it. I was like, oh, that totally worked. And then I had to go get a new HDMI cord or Ethernet cord. No problem. I knew it was too easy. You know what I mean? Like no, nothing in life doing this show is ever that easy.
Now,
so I should have known.
Since you reconnected, you looks good, sound good, everything's fine.
Good. All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll make it work. I just appreciate everybody hanging out with us every single day. So again, tomorrow, our conversation with John Rothman, the State of the Union. On Wednesday, of course, we'll go over the State of the Union. And did Biden say what you wanted to hear? Rosalie with a $10 super sticker. Thank you so much, Rosalie. I like your name. Rosalie, is it Sestoni? Or Sestone?
Yeah, I would say that. Sestoni.
Yeah, sounds a little Italian, which I like. CR with another $20. I love you. Thank you so much. So much. Yes, please support our show by becoming a monthly subscriber to our Patreon. TheNikkiMedoroShow.com is where you get it. And again, Harry gave us $20 for the Medoro Mule. Please go to the Red Jack Saloon in San Francisco. Say hi to Lori, who created the Medoro Mule and is going to donate some of the proceeds to this show. It keeps the lights on. There it is, the Red Jack Saloon on Bay Street, you said, right?
131 Bay.
There you go. So give
Say hi to Lori about the bar.
Absolutely. We absolutely appreciate all of you. We thank you so much. And we'll talk again soon. John Rothman tomorrow. We'll be back on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Nikki, you're all so awesome. Miss Brown, like a beautiful blossom. You're all so the best. I really can't rest. You're all so awesome.
Wow. Okay.